Let's take a quick look at all of the records and all the fields inside of our current products table. We can see we have 480 records, product IDs ranging from 1 to 480. If I was going to insert another record, logically that record would be 481. Now each record would like to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of data because there are 6 fields. Let me copy this, and 481 should be populated here. The name should be populated here. The cost of the trip should be here. The date that it originated will be populated here. To be deleted, populated here, and we'll call it medium stay. So I've got the right number of fields in the right order. Let's run this query, and I get an error. The reason I get an error is because in this table, this field is known as an identity field. It will auto-increment and assign it for you. So you only need to provide the last 5 fields. So let me delete the 481, run the insert statement, and let SQL Server automatically assign that field. 1 row is affected. I run the query, and we can see Yoga Mountain Getaway 5 days was auto-assigned 481. With 41 already inserted, what would happen if I inserted another record? Let's insert the Yoga Mountain 1 week getaway, a slightly longer trip. Run that, and see what our result set looks like. That was auto-assigned number 482. Now what's going on here? How come the table is smart enough to know the next number and assign itself? Well, let's look at our databases. Let's look at JProCo. Let's go to Tables, and let's go to the Current Products table, and let's right-click it and say Design. Now, if you're in SQL 2005, this choice would say Modify. So here we're going to click Design. And of all the fields we have here, we know it's the product ID that seems to be assigning itself the number. That's because there's a property down here called Identity Specification. This is set to yes. Therefore, this field is an identity field. This field product name is not, this one is not, but product ID is. And it's counting in an increment of 1. It started with 1. The first product number was 1, then it was 2, then it was 3, because it's counting by ones. Now there's a subtle difference between these two insert statements. This one is inserting a hard-coded date, while this one is getting a date from a function. Notice the hard-coded date returned exactly what we fed it. The getDate fed the exact time that I ran the query. Let's look at what getDate looks like in its own select statement. It's producing the exact time I ran it. Looks like I'm making this video on the 18th of June 2009 at about 7:40 p.m. Is it still 7:40 p.m. and 30 seconds? Well, it's 7:40 p.m. and 42 seconds. Now it's 7:40 p.m. and 57 seconds. I bet it's now 7:41. GetDate is a function that gets the current time in your time zone and can be used as a part of an insert statement. So let's insert a 2-week yoga getaway in the exact same way. Now this one is identical to this one except it's using a current timestamp. Let's see if we can see any difference between getDate and current timestamp. Let's run both of these. It looked the same to me. Let's run them again. Actually, they are the same. GetDate is a function that returns the current time in your time zone, and current timestamp is a property, so it doesn't need parentheses, that returns the current time in your time zone. Now, current timestamp is the ANSI standard, where GetDate was an invention from Microsoft. So let's insert this record. It inserts successfully. Any guesses onto what number the 2-week yoga getaway has got? The answer is 483. So we now have 483 products. If we look for all product names that have the word yoga in them, we get a total of 3, 481, 42, and 483. What happens if we delete all 3 of these? Let's do this. Delete from current products, where product name, like, percent, yoga, percent, single quote. Now, the highest number in our product table is 480. Is the next insert going to be 481? Or is the next insert going to be 484? Hopefully this code looks familiar to you. We ran this in the first part and decided we didn't need this 481 here. We run the insert statement. It inserts one record. Drum roll, please. It's 484. So what do you do when your counter field has caused a gap, or you've lost a record and you want that exact record with its counter to be reinserted? Well, first of all, let me get rid of all my yoga records. I have one in there. And if I run this again, I'm going to get a higher counter field. So what I need to do is I need to do my own identity insert, not the automatic identity insert. And you can only do this for one table at a time in your database. So I'm going to say set identity insert. So this is the manual insert, not the automatic one. Set identity insert for the table current products to on. I'm going to highlight this, and it says completed successfully. Now, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pick my own value, 481. That's the value I want to insert. This matches up with the number of fields in the table, but I get an error because when you are doing identity insert, you cannot just pass by position, you must pass by name. So the first field name before the values is product ID. The second field is called product name. The third field is called retail price. The next field is called origination date. The next field is called to be deleted, and then category. All right, let me select all of that. One row affected. And now that I have inserted that record successfully, let me turn the identity insert off so it moves back into an automatic mode. Very good. Now, let's look at all of the records from the current products table. We have 481, but what number did it get assigned? 481. Let's repeat this process to put back record 482 and 483. First of all, let's set the identity insert to on for this table. Now let me insert number 482. It says one row affected. Let me insert 483. That says one row affected. Let me turn the identity insert off. Select everything from our products table. And the records are back. Time for Lab 3.3, Skill Check 1. The Management Training Table in JProCo has a class ID as an identity field. Many records have been deleted from this table. You want to insert the following: the Empowering Others class with the class ID of 4. If you run a simple insert statement, the identity counter is already way past 4. You must set the table's insert property so you can manually insert all fields for this record. The approved date should be set using the current timestamp property. When you are done, your results should resemble the figure you see here. And there you go for Lab 3.3 on identity fields. That also does it for Chapter 3. Next up, do Chapter 4.